Mr. Mann shares this. Canada has put out guidance to all crypto exchanges to delist stablecoins by March 23, 2023. Keep in mind, the World Bank considers XRP and XLM cross-border stablecoins. Okay, so let's take a look here, guys. What we have, this article here from Blockworks. Let me show you guys this. Crypto exchanges have 30 days to register with Canadian regulators. The Canadian agency is asking exchanges that will defy the new policies to stop serving customers in the country. Okay, so we see that, and then we got a line here. This is from the article. Exchanges must commit to the practice known as segregation in crypto custody and maintain a chief compliance officer under the new rules. They also must adhere to the elimination of leveraged trading and halting the sale and holding of stablecoins. Now, I was kind of shocked when I read this, but it does, when we go look at this actual article, which I'll pull up here for you guys so we can read this together, it does say that there are some exceptions. Okay, but they're literally saying, we are rolling in to this new, rules, new guidelines, new rules, March 23rd, 2023, which is a big date in the ISO community, let's call it the ISO community, that's getting all excited and riled up, right? That our ISO coins are about to moon in March because Swift is going live with ISO 222 messaging standard compliance. The problem is we still see actions against the SEC taking actions against the space, and we see issues like this. This is Blockworks reporting on this one, and folks, they're talking about delisting. They must also adhere to the elimination of leveraged trading and halting the sale and holding of stablecoins. Those conditions apply in the absence of otherwise granted permission. The agency cited recent turmoil in crypto markets for the updated policy. And so this is, the Canadian agency has asked exchanges that will not adhere to the new policies to halt serving customers in the country. Okay, so basically everybody needs to come in and register with the CSA, which I guess is basically the equivalent of the Canadian Securities Administrator, is basically the equivalent of Canada's SEC. Okay. And they say that we believe the recent CTP insolvency events noted above highlight the significant investor protection risks to Canadian investors of trading crypto assets, particularly where such trading is conducted through unregistered CTPs based outside of Canada. Okay. And the entities have until March 23rd to complete pre-registration requirements or cease operations in the country. So we're all getting excited in ISO land. Meanwhile, they're about to tighten it up there in Canada. Now it's interesting. They say that they're basically not going to be able to hold stable coins. And Mr. Mann had highlighted this. This is the Central Bank Digital Currencies for Cross-Border Payments little working paper that was put out by the World Bank. This was back in November of 21, where they do refer to XRP and XLM as stablecoins. A lot of people forgot about this one, but this is a direct quote here from this working paper from the World Bank, and it says, stablecoins refer to a class of digital currencies that are relatively stable in terms of their price. Now, I want to highlight that. Refers to a class that are relatively stable. Relatively stable. Speaking, when you settle in 3 to 5 seconds, it is way more stable than your cross-border transaction through Swift that takes 3 days or a week. And you're going to get FX currency changes throughout that whole week, right? And this is the problem with that old system is even in the traditional using stablecoins like the US dollar as we know it, the euro as we know it, you still have basically counterparty risk, currency fluctuation while you're sending that Swift message and waiting for the money to arrive 3 days later. You have the currencies fluctuating. Stablecoins offer instantaneous processing and security of payments as many cryptocurrencies do. They also offer stability with respect to their parity against fiat currencies. Two digital currencies that fall into this category are RippleNet's native digital currency Ripple XRP and Stellar Network's native cryptocurrency, the Stellar Lumen. Both Ripple and Stellar enable faster and more efficient cross-border payments relative to correspondent banking. However, they differ in that the former aims at improving cross-border settlement between international banks, whereas the latter aims at providing low-cost cross-border payment financial services to end users and the unbanked population. So even the World Bank acknowledging the difference: XRP, wholesale, XLM, retail, end user, and unbanked population. Basically, ISO is going to be, well, Swift is going to be going live with ISO, or at least many of the transactions will now be ISO messaging standard, okay? Starting in March of 23 here. The process finalizes around 2025, okay? And this was a process that was supposed to begin back in November. It got delayed till March. But I reminded everybody that Swift was already opting in their banks. Anybody that wanted to be, moving ahead and be ahead with this deal could start opting in back in August of last year with ISO. That didn't really move the ISO coins, did it? Right? I mean, we've come back down much lower here since then, right? And so I think that people were getting ahead of themselves, thinking that ISO coins are going to pump here in March because they're just going to start flipping the switch, and it's all going to be on our cryptocurrencies. See, they can start sending ISO messaging standard messages without using crypto at all. It's just a messaging standard, which is, I'm just trying to clarify this for our audience here so that everyone understands what ISO is. It is important because Ripple has made XRP ISO messaging standard. Stellar has made XLM ISO messaging standard, and a few others there have made their coins compliant with ISO messaging, or at least Ripple's HODL product would be, right? So XRP in the DEX is not an ISO 222 messaging standard message when you're sending a payment on the XRP ledger. But when Ripple is using HODL XRP, they have made that ISO 222 compliant. Okay, so that's just to clarify what this is and why I think a lot of the community is kind of getting ahead of themselves, getting excited about this go live date in March, when it could be delayed once again. And it could begin, but it doesn't mean that we flip the switch and our coins are going to start going up to the moon from there, right? This is starting the process, though. This is starting the process, because what it is it's sending data-rich payments. We need data-rich payments, and then we need the settlement to happen instantaneously, which is where you need the currencies to come in. When you need, they want permissioned ledgers at some levels, right? Which is where, once again, Ripple's private layer for CBDC's private layer on top of the XRP ledger comes in to facilitate that permissioned private network. While, us Joe Blows can still play around with our XRP, these guys are going to be mostly using XRP at the wholesale level, as the World Bank acknowledges in their white paper, talking about XRP and XLM being stablecoins because, relatively speaking, they are settling way faster, which makes the payment much more stable in relative terms to that of a traditional SWIFT money wire bank transfer, transaction, especially cross borders when you got the currency rates changing on a daily basis. Okay. Very important to understand here. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website,